Okay, so this video is basically, consider this my first Claude project, right? I'm just creating, I created a folder called API, and I went here and I generated a new session for Claude, and I'm in this Claude chat window. Now, recently what I did was I told Claude to ask me about a plan, what I could execute to generate uh, uh, a project, and it gave me this results. So I don't know if I'm crazy about this. I usually have a source folder, an output folder, um, um, and this doesn't really look like it adheres to some of the things I've seen, um, um, like where's the dot Claude directory with yeah. So this seems to be, I'm trying to do things differently now. Let's ignore this for the moment, and let me show you what I did here, and we're going to modify it. We're going to modify it, but what we're trying to do is create this particular folder here. So now that I'm looking at this, which this is what Claude says it wants to do, I went and generated my own prompt. So I asked it, can I just tell you what my plan is to create a plan for me? And so I said, create the plan, persist the plan, create. Let's see what I did, because I have to modify this. So what I want to do is build an image thumbnail creator using Claude API. I want a skill that does everything automatically, and I want all files generated for me. The skill, the skill, well, the directories. I think I'm going to put a comma here and just say the skill. All directories needed to get started. Every time I start a project, I want the skill to produce the project folder. I don't know if I really want that by preserving every time I start the project, I want the skill to only just say use the project folder. Directory structure and initial files to do what I needed. The skill should be used to create API Claude task, and I'm going to say a .en. I'm just going to say an environment file. So right over here, it created this. It was suggesting that it wanted to create this example. I don't want to see that. Let's just say permissions file, settings file, and this skill should be called thumbnail. I want to define properties such as the Claude API key used, and I want a summary printed out to verify all is completed. Everything should be done using Python. I need a plan file generated that should document what I'm going to say what this project is used for. When running the skill, a default vibe should be used and initially defined in the properties file. And the title, default vibe should be used. I'm going to say, for example, bold and nerd energetic, etc. And initially defined in the properties file, and a title and subtitle is input, which is read from the property file. I'm going to say as well. Anything that is not in the properties file, Claude will ask the user for input. For example, query to the user. In the properties file, I want to also list the company name, company URL, company email. The skill should output an image with the title, subtitle, graphics, a robot, vibe, and company information. The company information info is always placed on the footer in the bottom of the image, centered as well as formatted. Output should include all Python code that Claude uses in a Jupyter Notebook file that I will be able to run as well. If you suggest anything else I need, comma, please ask and we will update say all files in the project. Place this prompt in a text file in the project so that it can be used. Again, the skill will be run on a laptop, so no pipeline is needed. See, I understand the value of Docker and stuff like that in a Docker file, and I do want to see this because I am going to be running Claude in a pipeline. But let's just keep that out of the picture for now. I mean that's useful for agent core and things like that. But okay, so now there's one thing I want to say. The directory structure of the project. I don't like the fact that I'm really just using natural language to define my folders and stuff like that. And there are skills that are available that folks have created to create a repo, a project directory successfully. I mean, I think this is okay, but I like using different directory structures. The directory structure of the project should include a there's no input. So I'm going to say a source let me see. Okay. I'm going to say and any recommended folders by Okay, so let's see what this is going to produce. I'm going to cut and paste this just in case it doesn't I lose it, but I want to be able to get this right. And like I said, I saw something last night where there's people have created skills to make sure the plan gets executed right, and I will look at that. But I just want to see what I can do on my own here. So this is what I plan on doing. Let's go back to the folders. Let's look at the API folder, and let's execute this and see what happens. First, what I'm going to do is let me back this up. God. BI my plan. Put this here. And then I'm going to save it. See if that uses capitals. You know why that? Let me try it again. Okay, so I just saved it. So let's see what happens here. And like I said, I think after this I'm going to go and look at other skills. But I do want to tell you, like, I am really defining this to some extent geared towards my developer needs and experience. I think it's doing okay with what it's producing, but I'm so used to seeing source folders and input and output folders and documentation folders. I don't know. So let's see what this is going to do for me. I'm trying to close this window, but okay, I'm using Visual Source Code, which isn't really my forte here. I usually use WebStorm or PyCharm. Okay, so now what does this say? I don't know how to answer this. I'm gonna just say this is fine. Now, robot graphics. Fully programmatic geometric shapes drawn, AI generated. Now it's asking me for the skill location. This is fine. I'm surprised it's asking me that because it usually puts it there anyway. So like I said, my goal here really is to be able to which image generation, stability, aim. But this is really weird because I don't know what this is asking me here because I want to point to the Claude API. So, but Claude probably uses one of these. But I'm just gonna say this, and See, Claude will use Dolly stability based on this. Yeah, I want to do this too. Let me just submit answers. So there's two things I'm interested in. One is producing the image, using a skill over and over again with the flexibility that I need. The other thing is that the directory here is created so I understand it and I can reuse it the way I want to, and Claude can update files and execute when I update my skill. So that's what I'm looking at here. If this thing does not do a good job, I'm going to go back and get a skill out there that does the right thing and use it. Because, you know, what I notice is some of the skills use the scripting directory, and Python is scripting, but I do like calling things source so I know where the source is, right? So, so let's just see what happens here. It's going to write the full plan now. I'm hoping that it will persist the plan and it will persist my prompt. And like I said, really in reality, generating an image using a title is really the goal. Now, we tried to do this before and it did it. So now, it looks like it rewrote this window, and it has the commands, it has the source. This is much better for me. The plan is, let's take a look at this. Now it's saying this. I'm going to say yes because it's got my commands here. Where's my environment? Yeah, my environment's here. I don't know why it keeps creating this. I don't want this, but yeah, let's accept it. This sort of the notebook is put here. This is great. Okay, so I'm going to say yes. Now, when I have the skill, I'm going to basically say create thumbnail. I'm going to give it a title. That's really what I want to do. But first, before I do that, I do have to make directory thumbnail creator. I'm thinking here now, in the environment file, I have to define the company name, etc. So right now we're creating I think this is good because this API is a thumbnail creator and I need a separate folder for that. So I like this. I don't like the fact that I have this and no environment file. Now, see, you notice that, okay, there's the permissions here. What file is this? This is in the settings, right? So I got permissions here to write, read, write this. Yes. Yeah, you know, I recommend that you do whatever works for you. Now, going down a rabbit hole, you know, when the Claude starts doing things and you don't even have time to read it, it's not a good experience. So you should always use the skill if it's going to help you. Okay, so this is the thumbnail command. So let's see. I'm going to say write the thumbnail maybe. What I hope is the environment file contains everything I need. Right now it's not even the right file name, so I'm just going to wait till Claude finishes doing its thing. It's printing this out like hopefully it's reading this thing and trying to figure out what else to do. I think this Claude code is amazing, but like I said, it turns your it seems like it's built for someone who is not a developer, and well, that's incorrect. That statement's incorrect. What I want to say is you really have to be a developer to give it the proper planning instructions and define what you really want to do, or else it's going to do it whatever it wants to do, whatever it thinks it should do. Now, I think I should have created switched the model to Claude Opus to do this, because the plan should be done with Opus and the task should be done with Sonnet. So this is what I hear, and I don't even know what model I'm using at this point, but it should have been the Opus model. Now, like I said, I could have went here and created all the folders and did whatever I want to and told Claude to look at the folders. And I'm sure my directory looks a lot different than someone else's. See, I don't know. I really wanted this to be in the environment file, so I must have used the natural language to describe something different. So let's just see what happens in the environmental file. But here's the title and subtitle. I've been using just the title, but it's good to have a subtitle. Image width, output format, your company. I'm just gonna fill this in. When I first started this project, I used IO, and I really don't regret it because I feel like I'm going to change the and my email. I realized yesterday I was using sales.hometask.io, and it wasn't working, so I fixed that. Now I don't know the proper vibe name right now, but we'll leave it like this and see what happens. Now let's see where we are here. Now I wonder why it's showing me this file here. And I'm going to I'm going to say use only, and I'm going to call it a .env file. env file only fix all files. So I asked it for something up here, and now I'm telling it something down here. So this is what happens. This was my initial prompt, and now I'm telling it to do something else because I don't like what it's doing. So I'm hoping that it fixes my prompt. Here's my plan. Let's just make sure I should also correct my spelling, make sure I'm spelling things right. Okay, it's correcting thumbnail. Now, one thing I notice is, let me just see. Oh, so this got updated. The environment. Yeah, see, I don't like. I told it to. Okay, I'll update all files, all configurations, move to .env, which is great. Now it's writing this, and I don't know why it's writing this. I told it not to use this. So this falls under the category of following instructions, and so if my prompt didn't tell it to do right, let's just see what happens. Rewrite everything. I'm just going to tell it to update things. Delete this and new update the notebook and doc files in parallel and delete this. Okay, that's fine. And I still have to go create my keys. I want to make sure that these keys are there. I'm surprised that the OpenAI key is last time I called the Anthropic API key to generate an image, I did not need another key. Anthropic said it wanted to use DALL-E or something else, so maybe it's going to do something a little bit better, so I probably need an OpenAI key. Okay, so now what's it going to do? Okay, so it tells me what has changed. So I don't want this to be called. I don't want this to be called. I like everything it's doing, except I don't like the name of this file. So I'm gonna say rename .env .example and I'm telling it to update everything. So it's interesting because I did mention a .env file in the I could go and look at and see what's going on here, but I'd rather finish and have it work and then go and modify anything if I need to modify it. But I'm going to do it with natural language until things get right. So Okay, so now what I usually do, because I don't like getting lost, is I ask Claude, where do I get my API key? I ask Claude, where do I get my open API key? And it gives me the proper URLs, which I'm familiar with, but it helps me get the job done quicker. Now it's telling me to open this thing. Okay, so it did. Let's just see. Let me just see something here. I'm going to say don't save. Now, in the env file, it generated this again. So as you notice, okay, so the important things here are these keys here. My company name. Now that I'm down to this env, I obviously go over my company name. I'm just going to put, I don't even know if I supported the www. I should check that. And this is going to be sales at task.io. Now notice when I tell Claude to change something, I make it fit, I say fix all files, it's overwriting my file, so I got to be careful of that. Now, okay, so let's go over here. So I'm going to do this. Let me go over, I'm going to say open a file. And I have a, you go into documents, and I have a, let me see what I have here. Let me just do this a different way. So here's where I need the API key. So I'm going to go to, I do have the API keys in a different file. If I knew which file it was, I could tell Claude to copy it, but show me the URL to get my Claude API key. Okay, so I click on this. And now I'm in the Claude console. So basically I have to get my API key. I'm actually in the API keys folder. I do have a default key. Let me create another one just for fun. Default, my API key. I'm going to add it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to close it. And so this is a key. And let me go back over here and reset this key. Okay, and let me save that real quick. I always use autosave. Let me go get this because, like I said last time, I didn't need this, but it seems like I need this now. So So I'm going to say, show me the URL to get my Open API key. And once you have that, once you have these, you should really just put it in a Claude config file that's above your projects. So we could look at that. Let me go into Google. You know, I don't know if I'm paying for this, but let me see. Create a new access key. I'm just going to call it this. Copy it. Close it. I guess I'm paying for this platform. I wasn't aware of that. Okay, so now we're going to do this. And we really should be finished with setting up. So let's go test it real quick and see if anything works. Home task AI, home task sales, and home task IO. Okay, let's see if this works. So now, so like I said, I have the source. It generated the source. It generated my prompt. It's not wrapped, but there it is. And there's a requirements file that this should install when Jupyter runs. I'm pretty sure Claude installed this before. Well, it might install it when I run this. So let's see. I have my commands folder. Here's my skill. It's telling, I didn't check this out yet, but let's just run it and see. Oh, it's going to write the thumbnails and with a date, which is great. Okay, and let's try to wrap this demo up. So let's okay, I'm going to say one thing I guess I could do is I said that I could put in a title here. So let me put in a title here. I'm gonna say Claude code. I'm gonna say custom skill. Is this a custom skill? Yeah, it is a custom skill, but it's using the API skill. And I'm gonna put the subtitle as thumbnail image creator. Okay, let's save all and let's try to run this. Where are we? I don't know what happened to my window, but let me just say this. Create thumbnail. Now it should prompt me for the title, or Claude code is going to be my title. It really should prompt me for the subtitle, but right now I have both of them defined. So let's just see if this works. So this is supposed to execute my skill here. Create thumbnail. Let's just see if that works. So it did go into thumbnail creator. And let's just see if it does the right thing. So it's telling me it wants to run something. Yeah, I do want to read properties, so I'm going to need that Python library. So usually what I suggest is somehow configure Claude so you have a virtual environment that you're using for all the projects, because I did that in the Agent Core samples. You don't want to keep installing everything in a repo in a folder. You want to use a virtual environment for Python at a high level, at the Claude level, maybe the documents level, and make sure it uses that. But for now, Claude has its own mind. It's going to do whatever it needs to do. And besides, this project should have its own versions of its own packages anyway, so I'm not too concerned. So far, I think things are going well. If I don't generate the image, then it failed. So, but I have to tell Claude what to do and update the skills and the plan and everything else like that. But I think I got everything. To allow this bash command, sure, why not? When you really come down and think about it, you could have used just the Python code and wrote it yourself and ran this, but we're running something, we're creating a skill that generates something. Like I said, I pretty much trying to establish a standard folder structure, which in some sense I like, but at the same time, I want to use what everyone else is using or best practice, whatever. I don't know why it keeps doing this. And this video is getting long. It's already at 43 minutes, but you know what? I'm not just using a scale. I'm writing a custom scale. So if I get this the way I want to, I could pretty much create Claude code images for all my videos. Okay, now, oh, it didn't get the timestamp. Let's see if it generated the output properly. Ah. Rerun this. Add credits to this. Let's do it. This, I don't like this because, like I said, I did this. This can be done without, with just paying for Claude Code. And I already paid for the Claude API tokens. Now I'm going to add credits here to oh my god. I'm afraid to say that they might charge me more money. Please add payment method first. Okay, so do I have anything here? Okay, I'm gonna go for this card. So I've added this now. Okay, credit added. Let me go back over here. I'm paying for tokens now. See, this is crazy. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just say rerun. Now, I'm concerned about that date not being in the output file, but we'll see. I really don't care. I'll fix it, but I'll make sure that we have something to look at. And I'm sorry that this is taking so long, but you just got to realize that this is what you go through if you're not prepared and you're trying to create something creative. If you want to just hit on create API with Claude and just use your key and generate the image, you could do that yourself really quick with just talking to Claude. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to create something that's reusable here. So this skill thumbnail is I'm going to create it. All my Claude code images will have a subtitle. Oh, it used the proper date and everything. It looks like it did it. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Nice Claude code custom skill thumbnail image generator. I'm not too crazy about the colors. My vibe is not. It's not using a good vibe. So let me see how I want to fix this. Okay, change the vibe to I'm gonna say not orange and red. You know, this doesn't look as good and clean as what I expected. I like this. I changed the vibe colors to no dark overlay and a little bolder and footer, and I'm gonna say although I, and you know, I don't really believe in talkiness. I believe in being more precise. Uh, I want these to be bolder. I want these to be a different color. This is too dark for me, and I don't like the red and orange. So, uh, um, um, no, I'm gonna say white. Okay, let's just see what happens here. But I'm going to run this and just see what this thing changes to. But the truth is, I want to use a vibe that's well known, and I kind of did this with my last thumbnail project that I created. You know, I don't even care for the Microsoft colors there, but because I could be talking to this thing all day and telling it what to do, and you know, I do want my properties file to say what the font style and size is. I do want to say what color this is. Um, and I don't want it to show yellow and red here. I just and I'm using tokens every time I change this, so I want to get my act together. But anyway, for this video, I think we accomplished the task of this video. Except every time I create images, if I create like 20 or 30 of these images, I want it to look the way I want to. And this looks kind of like childish. Not that my other images are not childish, but actually my Asian core looks like a real robot. But anyway, so we're almost finished with this. If it doesn't show up correctly, I will go into the commands, the skills, and really modify this correctly. And I'll make sure the environment has, you know, the environment right now. See, now I'm just telling it what my vibe is, but it's not using an out of the box vibe. So it did create the new thumbnail. Let's take a look. I like it better. I do like it better. This is too big, the text. I do like this style better. I like the colors better. So I'm okay with this. I want Claude code to be on top here and custom skill to be here. Maybe I'll put the custom skill in the subtitle, and Claude code would reside by itself. But anyway, as far as this video goes, we are really over time, but you get the picture. Keep in mind that I am using an API, Claude API. I am using the Open API. So I'm accumulating tokens in different places, and I believe that you could do this without using the APIs, but this particular demo was to use the APIs. So my next demo probably won't use an API, because when I first started this video, my goal was not to use the API. It was just to tell Claude what I wanted, and I wanted to get it. So I paid $20 for Claude Code. Then I had to pay $20 for Claude to call the API, and then I had to pay $5 for a ChatGPT to call their API. But most of the people do call DALL-E for images and stuff. So I think I'm on I'm doing the right thing here. Anyway, let's see. Just take a play. I got the plan here. Any assets? The only thing I didn't do was store this in GitHub, but I have all my things here, and I'm just going to change this here and call this, put this in a subtitle, custom yeah, I think this might make sense. That's interesting. I thought I could use autocomplete here, but I can't. So let's try to save this. And let's try to run it one more time. Rerun. And now you can see why I put the title and the subtitle different, because I wanted some flexibility here. And needless to say, the title Claude Code is going to happen all the time. The subtitle, this could be a custom skill or not. So the subtitle is going to define what it is. So I could use an out-of-the-box skill, I could use a custom skill, etc. And like I said, this is the default model, which is fine, but the plan should have used the Opus. Okay, so we could end this video now. If we want to see. I didn't really change the plan, the skill, or anything like that. All I did was change the property. So it should just generate the image. Here's my third image. That's fine. I like it. It could be improved, but I like it. Okay, so let's end this video. Thank you for joining, and my next video, I think I'll create GitHub and put this out there and really change this image so it's because change this image to my liking. The truth is, the text should be on the left and the image should be on the right, etc. Talk to you later. Thank you for joining.